In the studio, we guest Tenaya. Of course, we get Ahmed Sahid Nasrallah, one of the presidents for SLAJ, Leone Prezo, of course, there. And in the studio also, we get Mr. Tutange. We don't, like I said, we don't misuse you for these elections. We don't use you for pre, during, and afterwards. Thank you. So, welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much for having us here this morning.
Yes, so over to you, Prezo. So before the elections, you be actually called for a few journalists who want to do trainings for election, for ensure for say the stories them or issues that they handle be actually done in an ethical form and ensure for say we actually meet the needs of Sierra Leoneans then. So take us through the whole process for the beginning of the elections. How will the training go about?
Okay, well thank you very much. And you know, say during elections, the media they play a very central role. Yes, everybody depends on the media for get the information, for make sure say everything go from the election management bodies, from the police, security, the PPRC and other, and voter education and stuff like this. So what we try to do, and for make sure to position the media for play that kind of role there. And so the role of the media you can divide into three parts: before the elections, during the elections, and after the elections. So before the elections, we prepare them for make sure say on the day of the elections they perform the role efficiently, effectively, and professionally. And so what we do, we work together as a team, because for the first time in these elections, when we go for funding, we go together as a team. We normally work as SLAJ alone. So we go with the Independent Radio Network, we go with the IMC, the Independent Media Commission, we go with the Right to Access Information Commission, and the Media Reform Coordinating Group for approach donors and tell and say, these are our needs for these elections in terms of the journalism for building capacity. And so this is what we are proposing. And so when they go with the funding, they go on together. Okay. So we want to thank the Irish Aid, the Irish Embassy, also thank the UK Aid, and also thank the EU through IDEA International, the National Endowment for Democracy, National Democratic Institute for the support of the for do all the training there. And so first, now we train journalism on conflict-sensitive reporting. You know, so elections get tension always.
Absolutely.
The two political parties. And the messaging around the elections have been just the fan the flames for the we continue for divide, we continue for hate we serve, and bring the things them who know the people in Hawaii. They not talk about issues more, mostly about who are the north, who are the southeast, who are the northwest, and how the elections will go. And so part of that training for make sure journalists do not contribute to that. Journalists then help for bring down the flames and ensure say them preach peace and them embark on voter education for the public and not publish them things that would they flare attention and make sure and make it begin people in that kind of division day. And so we also go beyond that for training journalism on how to report on the elections. Because you know, say the IMC 3 months before the elections, about 3 months before the elections, the IMC get 2 regulations that wouldn't pass the parliament. One is the regulations on print and electronic media. The other one is the regulations on elections coverage and reporting. And so after them don't go around the country and popularize them, document them among journalists and station managers then. We also go down and train them, let them understand the provisions then of them 2 regulations then, because now the IMC for use for monitor the elections and ensure say all journalists and media then abide to them to the regulations then. So we do that training day. And we also say women them back, we need for support their media during these elections. And so what we do conflict sensitive reporting. For ensure say the media also help the woman candidate with the contest for profile them and ensure say they represented inside the media in the report they will give so that we also push them small and they get some level playing field for participating in the elections. And beyond that, we know say for these elections, what we do, we prioritize safety and security of journalism. Because one of the key things then, even we will meet with the observers them, every one of them will meet, from the EU, the AU, the ECOWAS, the committee of elders of the West Africa region. We tell them that, say, for these elections, we want to prioritize safety and security of journalists. Meaning, say, we want to try for end, we want to ensure accountability and impunity. And so, when they go and report and make sure, say, any incident will happen, we involve journalism in terms of them threatening them, or they intimidate them, or they attack them, or they assault them. Make sure they want to capture in our reports and make recommendations going forward for address and impunity. And so, what we do training against also for women journalism on safety and security guidelines. And therefore prepare them because now that mostly they get the attack from social media and don't forget the assurance they say with them kind of skills there, you will get resilience and try to resist and know how to handle them when it happens to you. And beyond that, we also for these elections we do a hybrid of the PR system and the first past the post system. And so we say there is a need for journalism to understand the PR system, how we get for work, and help the ECSL for educate the public about that system there. though they call it, most of them programs are they call it, but it come before the elections, and so we will do them. So we go around the country and train station managers, them, editors, them, whether who cover the elections, for make sure they understand the PR system, and also help the ACSL for educate the public about that. Okay. And beyond that, what we do on the eve of the elections, we want to say tomorrow are the elections, today, we make sure we visit all the major media houses who get involved for report the elections. For example, AYV, the national broadcaster, SLBC, Media One, and we go also on Tumac Radio, Justice Radio, and Citizen Radio in the East. And basically what we do now for remind them about tomorrow, give their assurance, tell them thank you for what they don't do during before the elections, all the programs they don't do in terms of educating the public, profiling the candidates, and ensuring they have contribute to the peace and the stability of the country. And I should just inspire them. Because where you can recognize person in role, say they do well, you inspire them for continue to do well. And so we talk to them, we admonish them, we remind them about the importance of being impartial on the day of the elections. And so that will help a lot, because as we go into the elections, we see the kind of difference we get in terms of reporting. And so on the night of before the elections, we publish a safety and security guidelines where we encourage journalists to watch and guide them as they go the next day for report on the elections. So basically that's what we do in terms of preparing before the elections.
So, Professor, we meant to understand, so we also partner with the Peace Commission, where we get in situation where we have been to manning conference, and of course there were a lot of reports, messages coming, and all these things. So, with not the part we want to play, and issues, and they will be they reach the Peace Commission. Okay.
So beyond just reporting the news and educating the public about things that would happen around the elections, we also make sure it's large partner with other organizations, because we also care about the peace and stability of the nation, and we want to also leverage them opportunity when they come, so that we partner with other. So one, even with the bar station that they first do, they call them under the AGM, York, we then call the York Declaration, so they call political parties that can sign and commit to a peace pledge. We attend, they invite we, and we are one of the witnesses them to that declaration day. We are in the main political parties them, then be there and the sign to that document day. So that's one. And the second one, we talk about the peace pledge, funded by the Commonwealth of Nations and convened by the paramount chiefs and the International Regional Council. We also are part of that committee day, and we play a very key role for ensuring we get the two main candidates, the presidential candidates, them, Bitumani conference, and all the other parties, them chairman and the flag bearers, them for Kandi, and also make a commitment that we commit to say, for these elections, we go talk to supporters, let them abstain from violence, let them preach peace, and we go also commit, say, we go help for educate the public on the elections and talk about the issues that will matter, and also we go also commit, say, in the event that they announce result, we're not happy with the result, the right thing for do, and we go through the procedure for going to court and make a complaint and see that the court hear your case. Those are the things that they commit to. So we play a part in that. Then beyond that, we also partner with Save the Children. Save the Children in Sierra Leone, they're concerned about picking them during the elections, because they get incident from the August 10 riots. You see how picking them involved in riots, when they capture them, people, and they use them for perform them bad things. So they be concerned, say, then things are not happen to picking them during the elections, not for use them for rally, not for use them for they have programs that would get around the elections. And so we support them for put out that message day, we get the press conference and put out the press release we jointly do together. And so those are the things that we do. And if you want to back this large, now in the head, the National Political Debates Committee. And so then basically that committee, they comprise of 11 member organizations, civil society represented, the PWC represented, women represented, the media represented, and youth represented as well. So it's an inclusive and diverse committee. And so part of our responsibility now for making sure we conduct political debates for these elections, so that we promote the culture of debate among the politicians, among we the supporters, and ensure that citizens participate. So provide a platform where they will come and talk about the agenda, talk about the manifesto, and the people question them. And so we try for do that day. We do some for the youth them in political parties, for the women in political parties, and for PWDs in political parties. We try for do the presidential one, but unfortunately, funding not been there because of certain reasons.
Yeah. Of course, during, before and even during and after, we get this, as I can call it, citizen journalism, where they send out fake messages and create chaos, conflict, and all. And I believe says largely can work with I-Verify, yes, when they verify information them and quickly send out to public before they publish fake information them. So what can you bring up that idea there, and how successful was it?
So thank you very much. That's a very important one you come to. And so before the elections, we also realized the role of misinformation and disinformation and fake news in the country in the past 3 to 4 years. It'd be very damaging to the country, and it'd be largely responsible for all the violent incidents that would have happened in our country. And so we do a landscape, a study of the landscape, integrity of the landscape. And so what we find out is that information online and offline, they always manipulate them for suit certain interests, mainly political interest. And so we recommend, say, SLAG for ensure, say, the position say for these elections for counter disinformation, fake news, and hate speech around the elections. And so what we do with support from the UNDP, we established the I-Verify platform for the first time in the Sierra Leone experiment. We don't do our other side in Kenya and I think Nigeria, and then they plan for doing also in Liberia in the elections will come in October. And so we get a team of fact checkers who will train together. This will do again together as a team, we, SLAG, IRN, and the BBC Media Action, together with UNDP and the partners then. And so we train the fact checkers, 8 of them, and 2 coordinators. We employ them for 9 months for cover before the elections, during the elections, and after the elections. And so then basically they work now for ensure, say, they do social media monitoring, and every content will be around the elections will get problem, will get issue of authenticity. Then they fact check them and post them on the I-Verify website so that the public will get access to them, and also journalists will get access to them for publishing on the other media outlet there. And basically beyond that, you get the platform interactive. You as citizens, you get information you want to verify. You go there, you post and they tell them, say, I get this information, you want to verify for me if it's not true.
Yes. For people know.
Well, I don't do the website offered. Okay, yes, but today, at the type of I-Verify, you see,
okay.
Then you get the Facebook page as well. Okay. The Facebook page is also the I-Verify. As you click also the cow. So you can go there and send your voice notes. You can send a message and ask questions about information where you don't get, what you want for verify. And then they can respond to you and verify for you and send it back to you and tell you this is wrong, this is misleading, this is false. And so the counterpart of that, the parallel program to that, now the Super Newsroom, which are funded by the National Democratic Institute. Now, not just based in Africa, they're also based in the regional areas. We also get offices there. In Kenema for the south, for the east, in Bo for the south, in McKinney for the north, and in Poloko for the northwest. So we get fact checkers there, and coordinators them, and also at the same site that I verify we got another team there, where they say they fact check the same thing. And they publish them as far as wide, website, Facebook, WhatsApp groups, them also, and also the Twitter handles them. But basically now also they do for fact check information, and so far they do very, very good work, fantastic work, because they get calls from everywhere. And so we not only rely on that. We say from the studies that we do, we find out, say, the bulk of the population still rely on radio to get the information. And so radio can play a very good part. And we take and see the disadvantages of technology. Not all man get access to smartphone. Not massively for going on our website, for go check, for going on our Facebook page for check information. So we use the IRN platform. We own a platform of about 40 to 50 radio stations. Then during the elections like this, they can collapse into one. So no matter how you tune, you get the same information. So they get a hobby here in Freetown. So them job now for look at all the fact check stories that we don't do. We don't post on the website for the week and compile them together and broadcast them in the language where people can understand on a weekly basis. And also beyond that, we don't just only fact check, we also do voter education and put out information that we will say the correct information for educate the people. For example, about the elections, what they get for do, for the MP win seats, the councillor win seats, for the mayor win seats, how we get for good process. We do all that for educate the people let them understand. So basically that's what we've been doing.
All right, now bringing in Kalilu Tutange, chairman for the Civic Education Council. The coordinator of this no more. We don't use you. For this past 4-5 weeks consecutively, and now by default, because your institution very important.
It's very important.
Very exactly.
Yes, we will talk about anything there, and any facet where we talk about concerning peace, national cohesion, information, youth. And how information for go on an institution important. We've been talking lastly on how on a handle on post-election activities. Quickly, let me talk with you what you don't do so far in their engagement then day.
Well, basically what we do, we don't do now for right to report them. The team they will go outside for monitor together with partners them, and the guys will report them. But see, you just see this atmosphere of report writing, but command will say we don't have for clog up. So we say next week we do your presentation, we'll make a press conference, we will share with experiences from the election, because we want men and informed with engagement going forward. Because some things then we learn, we will go deep into the communities who will not be know about. We now get a fair idea of community relations and where politics day and where politics not day. You know, that is very clear for more to understand, because people then they will be the guru, and then the communities they will be the see the elite. The tension will see suddenly come amongst them where politics day it be quite different, and how we allow that thing for simmer down, and how we go for plan for me we will lead to them going forward is very important. Also, we don't see some developments them. I mean, ultimately in Canada, I say election is supposed to be a citizen affair, because the politicians and they can't with the citizens. They say, "When I give you a mandate," now we get the mandate. They say, "When I give you a mandate, for me to carry it out on behalf of una." But unfortunately, in the process, we allow the interests of the parties and the politicians therefore overshadow we own interests away. Now we this supposed to there about how we make Sierra Leoneans them learn say the issue around elections now basically about them choosing their leaders and how them will play a pivotal role in that going forward. Then are some other education and the way we want for include in what we do. We also see the issue around women and young people and the marginalized group generally, people living with disabilities, the PWDs, how the level of participation. The one thing it be really groundbreaking, you know, the way blind people then able to get their own vote specifically, then that be a good thing. We also been to look at participation, non-violence, that is key things then the way and voting. You know, we get some money for make sure so we drive up participation. So we link up with several other groups that will make a lot of other IEC materials. Then we go make we able to do that. We partners and work with we. Now sometimes we go for look at how far we go with that. How was the participation? What's the role for drive up with participation? The linkages that will be made, the partnership that will be made. How they be able to help you for do with job, how we improve on that one, and things that we go for look at. Above all, the post-election period, I think that will be done the scared, but all of the time. Because at the time that say we politicians go come say, hey, they rogue me, they know what to say me. How then they play out? How then they play out? How the politicians they play out amongst themselves? How we say we as citizens they play out amongst themselves? That part they made me very impressed, you know, except for a few areas where they say this they be, but on the whole, even after the election, where some sector of the political class still get questioned about the outcome of the election, the people then generally they don't move on with their own life. Then they carry on the way they want to carry on as usual. Although some other places in the way we have say problem, they will go for go and engaging people. But on the whole, Sierra Leoneans they don't put their best foot forward and they don't follow nobody. Then they carry on with their own thing when they do the normal activities. There, we hope Sudan will continue. But what's now the elephant in the room now the relationship among the political class. You know, we don't have one faction. Because when they say government, now the party in power and the party out of power, now they continue, now they join together for make that government day. Now the party out of power, they get concerns with the outcome, and they say no, the procedure say where they set aside way for follow if you in case you're not satisfied with the outcome of the election. There's a laid down procedure. They say they don't go follow down, they said, because they say they don't trust the other parties, the court system and all of them, they say they don't trust them. Well, they're not to the spirit of one panistia. They're not to the spirit of one panistia. Because if they should be named at the other foot, if Nademi now become the government, the party in power, they will expect to work out, you know, go throw out the baby with the bathwater. The courts are still going to be there. The police are still going to be there. Whoever rules this country, we expect long after we don't go, then the institution will still there. How do we work with those institutions and make them better? Now, if for me, we call as Sierra Leone assistants them. We're not going to say no. We're not going to work with them. We're not going to work with them. We don't try. We don't start for reach out to individuals that within that political class they and others. For many of us seriously, and we encourage, especially the president, we now the fountain of honor. Should have been there before the election, before they call the result, the message will be put out. It will be pretty much reconciliatory, you know, and that will be the expect of leaders then for do. Thereafter, we don't see, because of the standoff with the other people, we don't see lines they get drawn. We want from a resident line that they made the president still understand, say, the fountain of honor, the people of Sierra Leone expect them for me ego be temperate with the issues there. I may understand, say yes, so then the tempers can flare, more encourage them, more reach out. And when you reach out, more encourage other parties and say, men say come to the middle. We can have movement in this thing. You don't go just sit in a young corner and say, you know, I'm going to get stuck in this corner. If not picking, say, well, they give them time out because it's throw tantrums. No, nobody for throw tantrums. We all for look at the bigger picture. In case this happens, what is going to happen to our country? What is going to happen to this democracy where we don't lose limbs and lives for? What's going to happen to picking them with the left? Because in this global community, nobody's going to wait for the other. Every country, whether they're the best neighbor, it's a chance to take advantage of what's available so that it will get ahead of you. If you don't get an opportunity, this Sunday begin move slowly. Why don't you all try to move this country forward? Because that's the only thing we go left, give picking. So I go continue for ask the political leaders there. Make them sorry for the people of this country. Even the one they say they not want to participate. Many members say people that wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. They so much trust them, they wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, they go to them in line for the better part of the day, then vote for them, for men to go represent them. How now you go just renege on that responsibility day? How now you go just renege on that responsibility? That cost where people they don't put in you for represent them. For instance, go na Bombali, 10 out of 10 seats there were won by the APC. The council, district council also by the APC. The city council also run by the APC. Now, if when I say when I know they participate, what message when I want for send to the people that they in that district, the way they don't put their trust in when I remember all of them in the day, man, anger no the rule, the better part of we. No, not allow we own personal emotions then for the takeover way. Because if you allow that, then you're inside the wrong business. If they allow you personal, go be a celebrity, make people they worship you. But if you want to be a politician, you forgive and take, and that would accept for the
yeah, so
we're seeing on our engagement also with youth mandate, because the last time, even before the election, a day before the election, we also hold a peace rally. Yeah. Also, we get the message, we want to call on youth mandate for them be peaceful and during the elections. And largely, we elections were largely peaceful. Say for the side and outside people and feel say some UKK may take place where they take the law at the hand. But after the elections, what's now our observation so far from the council on youth man their behavior? Well, the youth man they continue for behave themselves, although immediately after we they announce that result, some people then try, some nefarious politicians that call them, they try to reach out to them youth one day, then begin dole out money to them for make them go out and do the dirty bidding. Unfortunately for them politicians and the youth man, the leader, they go for alert me quickly say this kind of thing they go on. So for one whole net with the pass and destroyer all outside them, but when they get that, for me to go counter that kind of message where they be the chair for give them. Fortunately for we will be able for counter there and tell them say may nobody not join anybody in Dabaru game. And so far we don't get with it. And when they sit down back with it, then a part of this assessment what we do, we meet next week with partners, including the youth groups, them with the ask which side will go right, which side will go wrong, how we'll improve on things then going forward. If election day, election no day, what youth man they need for know, for men to go better than lives, for men to go be part of the governance process, that assessment they will go for continue for doing.
So Mr. Totangi, integrity don't be a major issue in this country. And you only mentioned about the two main opposition parties, they're not working together, some no one for being part of the parliament and all these things. But the Electoral Commission be set a threshold number of 11.9 9%. We will make smaller parties them not be get chance for even in our parliament and include that of independent candidates them. And this do actually raise concern. You not think say probably that will be an issue for me anyway for more than two parties that work together. What will be your take on that?
Me once always as all we always are democracy watchers. We be one small party them they do them.
Exactly.
So that there will be some kind of a buffer. But if they go no more mano, they can get some bad blood quickly. But being there, what's me happy is the parliament. This issue now they may say they want 135 of them for the parliament. Now then they set the standards and we would expect say ECS then just to implement voting parliament group. Because I remember since way they talk about early voting because of all of the controversy involved. They may go for draft the policy. They can't go to parliament. And parliament they agree on that because before they're able for implementation. Even when you come back now for implementation, they go to a problem into that. So parliament. You know, for be astute. Really, the parliament is for do some more work, some robust work. Unfortunately, the nature of the party politics in our country, and they allow that to happen. And the nature of the voting patterns, where basically is regional, they make them tear or they go on. But again, there is one thing we forget about. I mean, come on, one other broadcaster way, the national broadcaster way, somebody asked me a question, oh, Mr. Tutange, what about the president and all of that? President and sometimes people carry the way now lawyer, they're going for theory about president, we come to the here. Now, something we don't happen before. Now, one of the main questions they ask, oh, the ECSL for giving polling station by polling station data after the election. Yes, they're supposed to do that. And what is the precedent in that? These are the 3 elections in this country we don't take part. 2012, when the election done, it took about 5 months before we get that polling station to polling station data. Was this quite an issue about who win or would I not win? At that time, I don't remember I said we raise them. Even as well, I've been in the media, will not be raised them. 2018 back, it took about 3 months before that data they come and it not been affect would that win or would I not win, or not be make an issue. Just of a sudden, it don't become an issue. Or because they're not presenting it, ECS not presenting it, that means there are shenanigans there. Now all that in the stock distinction. So now make me go ask ECS, whichever way they're able for put that data out, make them put her out, make people them feel satisfied. But at the same time, Messi Leonians they know say this is not the first way that they happen. And it's kind of the further up if further are grown because that data is not available. Because that is why every political party we participate in this year, it be supposed to send agents there at the polling station, and we'll all go attest say, then count the votes then at the polling stations there, and then put the RR forms there. Now, if the way ECS have been talking, if they been follow through on them, where they do them, then snap them, or then put them inside the tablet, then send them, then sometimes they go down, use this point. But remember, say, another political party will say, no, we are not for do that. We are not for use that app there, we will not verify. And so that means, say, the process will be slow in itself. Whatever it may be, make ECS try for put out that data there, because if not part of the controversy, then they more try for solve that controversy. The less controversy we get around this process, the better for us. More will unite ourselves, more will go forward. And I still appeal to the political leaders, and from the president to the opposition leaders, then men and sorry for we as the citizens there. Men and look at our best interest, because people don't say them for ban this person, that ECC money, that was MCC money, say not for car again, that person not for travel again. All that they're not good for our country. More do what's right for we. So the political leaders, them, the people of Sierra Leone, on behalf of the people of Sierra Leone, we are the big una see how we will come together and solve whatever problem. No problem, no the way we're insurmountable. However, the problem big T, motorman, I get the problem, I for solve. Do you make them come together, make them solve this problem, more go forward.
All right. Let me begin in Prezo, I'm saying Nazala. Inside 2018 election, we've been getting so many concerns with intimidation of journalists, where some even lead to physical attacks, where at the end of the day, and because of that incident, they will be also one journalist. And fast forward moving into 2023, I go on to firstly waiting at your observation on the general output of journalists them. and how security forces or probably political parties and the attitude be there towards journalists there. And then secondly, you've been talking just now on Sludge being the head championing the debates. And we viewers and listeners and get concerned. Why the presidential debates not being there inside these 2023 elections?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, when I start, I say, for this election, we prioritize safety and security of journalism. And so what do we do? We must say we'll be getting an MOU with the police in 2021, just after they repeal the criminal libel law. We'll try to engage them and see how we go improve the relationship between we. Because the more we interface with, the more can assault we, according to the figures over the years, for the past 20 years, we're going to issue that. So the MOU, they help for strengthening the relationship with the police. And before the elections, we get training as well. When they fund them, the police and they fund the training, to make sure journalists they understand how they operate. And then so also now journalism back. They don't become journalists them, and so we will contact them. They give me the commander number, and we'll contact them and explain them, and shall we say, they get them out of the building on hot together with foreign journalists them. Except for one, we'll say they vandalize the vehicle, and the editor of Salon Compass, and also Beta. That one also we investigate, because not just to take what you tell we as hook, line, and sinker. We investigate them, CPJ they investigate them, and once we get the final report, we can put out now say this now. And so in terms of that one day, okay. Then we also look at the other report there where they come out from MRCG, also support the opposition as that the media do very well in terms of coverage during the elections, on the day of the elections and after the elections. And also we see yesterday again, a couple of days ago, the IMC media monitoring report as well. Yes, we have pull out. Totally encouraging, although they name some media houses them who fall foul of the law, about 4 of them, put them name and shame. And yes, in totality, if you compare to the other elections that would have in 2018, 2012, this one is our best in terms of coverage, in terms of safety and security. And we hope so going forward, we'll continue to improve on that and ensure we get good relationship with the other one day. Then to the debate. Yeah, the debate I tell you say, okay, with funding from NDI, we don't start for prepare for them. And prepare for them through the organization of the smaller debate efforts. Because you can say the youth man them, the political parties are very important, the women is very important, and the PWs is very important. Because the youth people inside the party and the workforce, and they get energy. And then they go out and demonstrate with them, with the party callers, they go do this, they go do that. They always do it. Now if also ready for where they use them. So we target them, we count them at the table. All 17 political parties participate in January and February. And on the youth debate, and basically the topic now before tell them say, voting as a party, young people go do for, at least young people for make sure they not contribute to the responsibilities of social media, and they not contribute for spreading hate speech and disinformation around the elections. So they're going to stage, everybody got opportunity to talk about the party position, and we'll go beyond that to go to the women there, because one woman herself gets some say in the party and get them with the go. So we'll give them, I think they'll talk about the Jury Act, will be the Jury bill will be in Parliament. So what your party will do, for make sure you support the enactment of that Jury bill day, and also implementation of that Jury bill day. So they can articulate their position there. And you also see PWDs themselves, they fight for get a hole in the political parties there. But unfortunately, we find out most of the parties they not get PWDs in the membership. And so, but we encourage somebody one they will not get, that they use one they will not to disable them for, also can talk on their behalf. So then how the party going ensure and get more disabled people into the membership, and also give them the space for them to participate and be heard. So we do them participate. All of for prepare we for the presidential debate. And so presidential debate we get a budget of about 350,000, will be done submit earlier to the usual donors then. They look at them, okay, yes, but there were preconditions. Most of them were not sure that the incumbent president will participate. So they were there assurance first. And also the opposition leader, the main opposition leader, whether they will participate. So we did on that for try to get that kind of assurance day. And by the time we get the assurance now, it was too late for anybody come in for put funding. And we don't make it public because the NPD is a separate institution. So we put out a press release on the eve of the elections and tell people and say, we plan to do this, but because of so and so and so, it not happen again. So very good. That's the biggest setback for we, because we can say in 2018 it was successful, and we want for me and come into the body politic so that we go reduce the tension. And that voting, they say voting by region or by ethnic, you go down, because the election will be based now on issues. Now issues now go based on ideas, how you want to transform Salone, and they question you how you want to do that, and what you will take you for you do that. So those are the things. Yes, but we are also disappointed, just like the people that would they ask, and because we want to avoid the part of them, because then they for being help for reduce detention as well, because now a stage where they put them and say, okay, then interrogate you talk about issues that way you plan for do, and how you plan for do and anything. But happen, unfortunately.
Well, hopefully.
But they give up. Yes, but they give up, definitely.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So, because what will be your message out there to journalists and to that of the ordinary man, Sierra Leoneans as well, because, of course, with the college will not go.
Yes, exactly. Now they don't announce the results. We're going forward. We all know what's happening in the country. We all know the issues of the opposition and how, listen to your brother, what he talk. I think this is now all responsibility. Me, see, and say this is the biggest opportunity for law tests with courts. Before like for see the opposition go to court, whilst then they do the other issue of boycotting. Go personal court and test the court. If you don't trust the court, go there and put your case and make sure say this will be a test case for the court. Because you see, these are our 5th elections. And every election they get the same challenges, same problems now they get. So that means you need to learn. By now we don't be a beacon of democracy for the sub-region, maybe for Africa, maybe for the world, because we don't get transfer of power from incumbents in 2007 and 2018. 2 big ones there. But nothing happened. Tension may day, but in the end, nothing happened. And so if we don't get a guidebook knowledge, we say, na so for do for every election. And I believe they have every election they put recommendations they try for address. So let there be a cut-off point. Now, we try for make sure say you talk about precedent. Because it happened in 2018, it happened in 2012, 2017, so if I happen back. No, put a stop now. If you remember when we begin for campaign against hate speech and disinformation, we come against heavily on Gentle. But then we talk now, another mosque. We condemn her. And the people call me, hey, both someone have been talking the same thing, but tribe, I'm not condemn her. You have been talking the same thing, but tribe, I'm not condemn her. So this is not for condemn her. It's wrong. No, there must be a starting point. So now the opposition get an opportunity for test this case in the court and make sure say the court will follow her, put them open to everybody, who watch the case how they go and follow the case and look at because I didn't know to know whether ECS wrong or APC right or APC wrong or SAP or what I get for judge now. If you go by court, they go say no, what I get for judge? Everybody will to himself. This is only announce the result. When I say we're not going to have a result, we're not court and go test her. Now we see how the court they proceed. Then on the part of the government, the presidency, this also now a big opportunity for them for ensure say we do the things them right. We not continue to forget things them from the say precedent. Now consensus building, reach out and make sure say the CRC recommendations there will be get, will they help before make sure say we get we key issues there, the ACC, the police, the judiciary, the independent. Don't follow them what they get, don't adopt them and do them. Don't make sure say we get down to build the trust because right now APC know they maintain power. They maintain power, they know how they control the judiciary and the police. So they can say the same way now, so this party they control the judiciary and the police. And so why focus like that? When I put a stop now, let's start somewhere and say, let us do the right things. Going to 2028, no longer they continue again. Let every institution cooperate independently and do their work independently and let the public see there. Let the party they get trust, we say get trust and say we get a democracy and flourish. So for the journalism, let's continue to do our work professionally, ethically. We don't say someday we support the political parties, the government, someday we support the opposition. Do you work professionally? Support them, promote their ideologies and issues them, but not support them for without propaganda and things that will divide the country. We're not going to stop not support them, but do the things right, let the public and help the public to understand these are the issues. That's why the fact-checking platform they do very well, and the people they appreciate we and the challenge we get now how to sustain them beyond the elections because they're under for still December. After December, how do we sustain that going forward? Because there is so much misinformation still going on social media beyond the elections, and it will continue throughout the next 5 years. And the other issue we need to take very seriously as a country, this is the bio issue. We still ignore, but it causes so many trouble people. And this now a call for just not just the government, the opposition, and the international community. We have to take a very firm stance against this one because what did they do? It cause chaos in the country. It misinform people there. It misinform people them. It abuse people them. Then it cause instability. But we see how they talk about. All man avoid that because it can cost you back. If it costs you, don't mean nothing. Law will try to address that issue. It's not a big issue. Not the big elephant in the room who they avoid and where they cause most of them problem there because people then they get the wrong information and then they act on. When you get the wrong information, they act strongly. So we need to address the issue there. So going forward, those are my issues. It's allowing people then continue to go forward and we go about and do a normal business. And I shall say. We pray we get peace and stability going forward.
All right, Mr. Tutangi, as we close, what will be your message?
Waiting, that one way Said talks so, Monks talks so, is very important about this Adebayo business. But more than even Adebayo, the thing we befuddling is that there has been consistent allegations say Adebayo they support one element of the political class, and we will not ever see somebody go up there and refute that and condemn what the young man they do. Not fair. We do that because the gullibility of people they don't learn, people they don't get advantage for land. Because you compete, you bought on land, you take advantage on that unfair way, then the back no right. One thing we stand out inside all of this election where they talk about the way the security forces they conduct themselves, it be very good. And I hope say now further in the help of the leadership of the police, we hope say they will go for continuum. Not to election number want a professional police force. We want a professional police force every day because we deal with them every day. The way they carry themselves on election day, we hope say that same police force then go day every day in real life na Sierra Leone. And I also will call on the political leaders, the civil society groups them. It's just like how Nasrallah talk about the media. Even in Washington, you get the Washington Post, you get the Washington Times. We know say the Washington Post is left-leaning, the Washington Times is right-leaning. But they know they go conjunct, they know go take a light and go right about the company because they care about the integrity. Same thing to civil society. We expect them, yes, you can get your own land, you believe in this, you believe in that, but always they look for be factual in what we represent out there because in that way, people that will get trust in the way they do things. Now the trust we need, there's a deficit of trust in all of what we pass with. The politicians, they not get trust in one another. They say they not get trust in this institution and that institution because they know who side and tie the jiggy somewhere. When they lose that jiggy, they more move forward as a nation because that is the only way we can make progress now.
Okay. If let us add one more thing. Yes. In terms of moving forward, say peace not to just the absence of tension or violence, and for ensuring we get justice as well and mutual respect. So all the allegations there around killings who happened during this elections period throughout, I think government need to set up a committee for investigate them, just like I can do for the August 10. Because once you do them one day, look get a committee where they investigate and find out whether the killings are true or not true, so that justice will prevail. And then we need for the one going forward. All the allegations then, because so far now, social allegations we get, counter allegations we call. So we let a committee and prove that the people that were killed, if they kill the people for account for that, so that we address accountability and impunity going forward.
All right,
thank you very much, gentlemen.
Plenty thank you to you, Ahmed Sain Azgala, President for the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists, and also to you, Khalilu Tutange, Chairman, National Civic Education Council.